All right. We had Dark there in the top left. In the bottom right, we have Clem. We're on Greystone. This is a great first map for them to play on. Greystone tends to give us slightly longer games, slightly more epic games. Any idea why Special and Parting did not like each other? I don't recall them not liking each other. Like, maybe that's the case, but I don't really keep up with drama very well. Because who the fuck cares? I'm 40 years old. I don't give a shit who doesn't like who. Literally couldn't care less. Now. What happened with Special? Special's still around. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Anyways. Double barracks. So Clem gonna go maybe 2 racks Reaper here. Now, is this gonna be 3 Reapers into the Marines? I hope so. I really like that build. I'm a super fan of that build. But it could be non-stop Reapers as well. We're gonna see in a moment. Oh, he's going 3rd rack. So he's gonna add a second gas. So this will be heavy Reaper. Okay, so there's several different builds right now floating around that do things that look like this. That's why I was mentioning. Right now, there's a 2 racks, 3 Reaper into Marine build, which I think is cool, and we talk about it every time it comes up. That's not this. Instead, this has that 3rd racks in the main base. It is going to be heavy Reaper. You got to make sure you keep those Reapers alive. Clem has the micro to do it. Does Dark have the micro to stop it? We're going to find out in a moment here. By the way, thank you all for coming by. I hope that you are enjoying the StarCraft 2 cast here today. Please make sure you follow the channel. I cast this tournament every single week. You can always get a little bit of StarCraft 2 fix with me. This is my StarCraft 2 fix for the week, since I don't get to cast GSL anymore. But actually, when you think about it, since I moved to Canada instead of Korea, I'm actually casting more StarCraft 2. Think about it. A day of the ESL is more casting than a day of GSL, and there's only 21 days of GSL this year, and there's 52 weeks of ESL Cups this year. So I'm actually casting more StarCraft 2 now. In fact, Tasteless should have left Korea if he wanted to maintain being a StarCraft 2 caster. I am now the only StarCraft 2 caster full-time. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, the Reaper harassment going to continue, just rallying them over right now. He's actually hitting the 3rd base, 3 Reapers at a time. There is a spine that goes up. He's going to go ahead and reposition that with the Queens, and then put Lings up on the top. So that 3rd base is going to get canceled. Dark is just letting that eat up the shots. It's keeping the Reapers busy, allowing him to reposition everything he wants. And I think this is going to be it as far as Reaper production goes. These last 2 Reapers, I believe those will be the last 2, and he'll throw add-ons down. Let's see if that's going to be the case. I would be pretty surprised if he continues. Yeah, there it is. So 1 add-on. Factory coming up. And there you go. We got the add-ons. Let's go. Triple add-on. All the Reapers go home for a moment. I'm actually not entirely sure why they're here. Maybe it's just because, you know, the spine went up and everything. He's sitting very, very defensively. Maybe he's afraid of, like, a counterattack right now. I'm not entirely sure. You know, you can utilize these Reapers later. We haven't seen many players do this effectively. But you guys may recall Byun in one of his primes. Like, I guess what we should call his actual prime. He was, like, literally juggling units with Reapers during battles in the mid-game. Like, well after. Because normally Reapers are basically out of the picture by now, right? We're at 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Normally Reapers are pretty done. You know, you've traded them out. You've done what you can. But if your micro is up to the task, you can actually use these to do things like jump Queens way down a line. That type of thing. So you see he does a little split there. Scouts with the head Reaper. Turns around. Good Marine production right now. Starport on the way. Roaches coming up here for Dark. Pretty standard for Dark. He does like his roaches. Sees that hatchery pop. Okay, so this is really interesting from Clem. I haven't seen this ever played like this. I'm going to be honest. I really haven't. I have not. Like, the 3RX Reaper to go, like, that light with the Reapers into these Hellions. Okay, so he uses the Hellions to allow his Reapers to jump up. Look at how timidly he's playing. This feels a little bit weird. But you know what? He's made his opponent reposition a few times. I thought maybe he'll jump on that, throws grenades down, decides to turn around, decides to disengage. More Marines coming up with a couple mines as well. Obviously, as you add more units in here, that Spine Crawler is going to become useless. He runs into the Roaches here, and then will come down for the flank. That was very clean. He's killed a lot of units here. Some Ling Ravager going for a bit of a counterattack. Worker count is equal, but this is a little bit better for Clem. All right, a run into that third base. No drones there. Dark way too smart to have drones there right now. Ooh, Dark forces a stim and then pulls back. All right, throwing down the biles. Going to get rid of this reactor very, very quickly. All right, blowing up that Rax. Really good attack here from Dark. Really good attack. Okay, the flank coming in now. The Lings coming in behind. The Reapers are tanking a ton of damage here for those Hellions. So he will clear the Lings. We're getting low on units on both sides, though. Okay, Medevac's popping out. Ah, he just loses that tank, but guess what? The Reapers are going to help with that single Hellion to kill off the rest of that. Okay, where are we at? What a wild opener. Dude, I literally have goosebumps on me right now. Getting chills. That was so wild, man. Yeah, Mapu pointing out how late some of this tech is because we've had such an interesting early game, so many scuffles. Looking at this production tab, thinking about what's occurred here, it definitely feels like Dark is a bit behind. I wouldn't, yeah, like if I had to bet on someone right now, I would go towards Clem because his tech progression has been relatively steady, right? Like he's getting multiple medevacs out and everything. The layer is not done yet, which means we don't really have high quality upgrades. We don't have any attack or armor upgrades. The evos are just started. Obviously, we can't get things like Roach speed as of yet. So it's like Dark just made some units, did some stuff with them. It didn't actually damage his opponent's economy. He is droning up now. He has, now here's one thing, right? This open 3RX Reaper, and Clem made a lot of units. Clem played pretty far back, pretty reactive. He wasn't jumping on Dark like we normally see from Clem. And I mean, maybe Dark is what forced that. Maybe that's what Clem felt was the right move. It's a little bit hard to read exactly why that occurred. We just know that it doesn't line up with exactly what Clem generally wants to do. But Dark is a tricky player like that, where sometimes because he makes the extra units early on, you're not going to be able to really attack him as much. And he might be lower on drones, but that's something he's willing to give up to prevent those attacks. So anyways, this is just a little bit of speculation as to that opening and the reason why the game is looking like this right now. So anyways, +1 armor is coming up for Clem. 1-1 on the way here for Dark. Little bit of harassment, but Dark's sitting in a very nice position there outside of his fourth base, just preventing anything from really coming up. Adding a lot of Roaches and Ravagers. Siege tanks moving out now with Clem. It looks like he wants to push in this area. On Greystone, right below this base is always the push location, because the fourth base is generally where Dark has it, but sometimes you can see a base as well right there, where you see on the screen, right to the right there. And both those are pushable by Clem. So this is like, that is the key area that we see on Greystone in TVZ, like literally every game. So he sets up, sieges, gonna spread his tanks a little bit and move them forward. A little bit of leapfrogging going on. Still a Reaper in here too, by the way. So Clem stims forward, picks off a Ravager, gets out of those Ravager biles. Not letting any of that hit right now. This is looking pretty decent for Clem, I feel like. Dark has a lot of supply, but it's Roach Ravager Queen. All right, some biles take out one of those siege tanks. Tank's doing a great job. Another one is going to fall. Oh, wait, no, he only had one more bile there. Yeah, that's going to be it, I think. That is so much damage onto Dark. He has more Roaches coming up, but it just feels like Clem has the advantage here. Dark may be in a bit of trouble with that Ling Ravager attack that did not end up doing anything. You know, he killed like a couple buildings and traded units, but when you're making units to trade that early with Zerg when you're on 41 drones, generally that'll give your opponent an advantage unless you kill workers. You know, that's just the way of things because of having to create both workers and army out of those larvae. Stimming forward, continuing to push with his tanks. Dark actually macros up an impressive amount of Roach Ravager. Gets some good biles in there. Blows up some medevacs as well. The Marine count is reduced slightly. Clem is getting ready to take another base. He has 2 factory siege tanks going. Yeah, he's not losing this game. Even with a decent engagement like that, like even if Dark like smashes what we see on the screen here, I think Clem's still got it. Well, he might actually smash what we have on the screen here. Gets rid of that siege tank. Another tank behind doing a good job. Throws some biles down. He is getting some medevacs here and there. Dark's still fighting. Dude, he is by far the best Roach Ravager user in the world. It's not even close. He is by far. But honestly, I like the production that Clem has had at home. The 2 factory siege tanks is incredibly strong. He's got a good, solid amount of Marines. The 1-1 upgrades on both sides. And when you look at that production tab, you can see who's gaining more quality. The quality is absolutely going towards Clem. Dark, he's making the units. In a situation like this where you see so much quality being added in from Terran, right? All these upgrades. This variety of units, this better composition, more expansions. Look at this. He's getting refineries to get more gas. The Roach player is going to have to overwhelm with those Roaches. But Dark, I think his early attack's just not doing it. Just not doing it. Excellent first game. Really fun one. All right. All right, we're going to be going into game number 2 here. It's going to be on Royal Blood. Here we go. Little update. Hero actually took out Byun. That was pretty quick. That was pretty damn quick. Those must have been some rushes. I can't believe he took him out that quickly. But it's going to be Hero versus Max Packs on that side of the map. On that side of the bracket. So we're going to have a Protoss in the finals. And let's see how this is going to go over here. In the bottom left of Royal Blood, we have Dark. In the top right, we have Clem. Yeah, I am still really fascinated with the way in which Clem played his Reaper opener. Get the 3rd hatch, and he decided that's enough. We're going to sit back more defensively. I think that's honestly what the more I'm thinking about how the decision-making went, I think he was just poking in, checking, and he's like, you know what? He's on 2 base for too long. He has to attack me. So he just kept his units alive. Honestly, I think that's what it was, which is a fantastic call from Clem, if that's the case. I'd like to pick his brain about that game, because it was a very different game. A very different game than what we're used to. Now we're just kind of waiting to see what this is going to look like. See what openers these guys want to end up using. Looks like just a very standard Reaper expand coming out of Clem. Dark over here. Everything looks standard thus far. He's getting his gas going a little bit. I would imagine he's just going to get his quick speed upgrade, get that 3rd base going as well. SCV making its way down. Just checking the timing on that hatchery to make sure Lings are not coming for a counterattack. Very, very standard stuff. Dark is someone who you do have to watch out for. Like, we don't see that many 12 pools nowadays, but if you were to see one from the top level, it would be Dark most likely. Now, the Reaper coming, a Marine being made, probably just as a safety net against any units that may slip through the net of the Reaper. And probably just, yeah, into a reactor from there. Oh, gosh. It's the Reaper. That was my commentary for the Reaper versus Lings. That's how much I like that. It's just such a fun part of the game. Artosis, why don't you crash that? It's not happening. Just not happening. All right. Just continuing to scout a little bit here. The command center coming up. Wait. Did he jump? Oh, he grabbed a third command? Oh, nice. I hadn't noticed that for a second. There it is. Third command center. And, well, we just gotta wait a minute here. I mean, it's third command center. Yeah, Banshee Hellion is generally going to be something that you see a lot out of that. It just kind of holds on against everything, keeps some pressure on it as well. Kind of interesting targeting the egg there, hoping something might pop out that he can just instantly nuke. Yeah, hasn't been able to scout anything yet. Cloak on the way. And obviously not a fake cloak. It's so far back in the base. See if he's able to get any damage. We already have a couple spores on the way, honestly, here from Dark. I don't know that he's gonna really have any way to deal damage here. Runs by. Okay. Zaps a couple drones. Oh, he actually doesn't lose anything. Some health, but a lot of it on that Reaper as well. And a Nidus coming out. Look at that. All right. This is not what I was really expecting. Nidus with Ling Queen. Okay. I mean, okay. This counterattack looked kind of good for a moment, but you got the Hellions go home. Now, maybe the Hellions go back across now, and then you hit the Nidus? Let's see it. Ooh. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit scary right now. He saw that Nidus. Goes down with the SCVs. It's too late. Second Nidus going up right now for Dark. Well, let's see. Like, sometimes this looks worse than it actually is, right? The Lings, how much damage are they going to get? They haven't gotten that many SCVs yet. The SCVs actually went back to mining, so it looks like he's going to get a fair amount. The Nidus is actually doing a good job keeping things back and tanking some damage as well. Yeah, kind of a rogue-esque style there. Has the siege tank in the back here. He's blocking for the tank. Now, don't forget, Dark does not have a ton of drones behind this. He is making nothing but Ling Queen at the moment. He is making a Roach Horn as well, so we might see a little bit of a switch up there as well. 18 SCVs have fallen. He does have 3 command centers, don't forget. He was headed towards mech, as you can see. Multiple siege tanks are out, so he definitely can get into a very efficient composition from this. That is a lot of queens, man. My God. Sets up another tank in siege mode. The Banshee trying to get rid of this Nidus down here. Is Dark going to pick up a victory? Picks off one of the tanks, but you can see how hard it is for the Queens to actually get up there and end anything. All right, putting some real damage on these factories. That one not finished yet. You did put an SCV back on to try to finish it up. Floating the burning one down. More Queens. Dude, look at how many Queens are here. Oh my God. That is a huge amount of Queens. GG. What an all-in from Dark. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. I'm digging that. That was like, I mean, anytime you're doing like kind of a very aggressive, like 2 to 3 base all in against someone who went quick third command center, you definitely have a real chance of getting them. I wonder, because he was switching in, well, not switching into mech, but going into mech. Mech takes a little bit longer to warm up there. So it was like a very greedy build from Clem in a lot of ways. That was a cool one, though. I like that. All right, tied up 1-1. We're going to see who takes this. Game number 3 moves on to the round of 4. Here we go. Neo-Humanity going to be our next map. This one can be interesting with those gold minerals you can take down for that third base. Also does have that forward rich geyser. I don't feel like that'll really come into play. Being out in the middle in this matchup, not as helpful. All right, so Clem versus Dark. What are we going to see? Really hard to say. Both these guys just have a lot of builds that they can pull out. And, I mean, it's the early game of TVC, right? We just got to kind of watch that production tab, see where we're going. 1 gas for 2. Obviously, a hatch first here for Dark. Pretty rare to see pull first nowadays. I feel like we see proxy hatchery more than that. And, of course, the spawning pool coming down. StarCraft 2 needs more rich Vespine geysers and rich minerals. Don't know about that. Rich Vespines, I think, are fine. I've seen very few games where I felt like the rich Vespine did anything early on. Later on, I think it's okay. But not a huge deal. Not hugely game-altering. If you think about gold minerals, generally they've been pretty broken. Like, you'll notice that most maps with gold minerals, like, the base will be so far out in the middle that, like, you just have a very hard time taking it early on. And then it's, like, kind of almost a cheesy play at this point. Because when we've had a few maps with, like, close gold minerals, it became pretty broken. Like, especially for Zerg. Zerg gets extremely powerful from gold minerals. Now, interesting that he's taking that as his third base. I don't think that there's going to be any immediate way to really attack into that and do anything special. Yeah, generally speaking, the rich geyser maps, the only thing I've seen as well, guy in the chat, is Ravager all-ins, basically. The only thing early on that it can really utilize. It's really the only heavy gas aggressive unit in any matchup, when you think about it. Now, Dark mining out some of these gold minerals, and that's going to give him a path down to defend that next base. Of course, Clem sees that. I think he already knows about the hatchery anyways. Has that additional gas coming up. Another barracks as well. Third command center almost done here. It's definitely a very different build than what we saw last game. Going to be a little bit more unit heavy earlier on with that Bioforce. Don't think we'll see something similar from Dark anyways. There's a little bit of light harassment here and also checking, is there a layer or anything like that? Well, is this good? Let's see if he gets some drones here. Like, he gets... What's he gotten? Like, 4 lings? Doesn't feel like a particularly good move. Like, he gets a full scout, which is kind of nice, right? Sees, okay, like, there's no layer, that type of thing. Okay, a couple Hellions go to the other base. Like, that you have to account for that somewhat. So he gets another drone right there. This Hellion doesn't seem like it's going to make it out. Gets killed off by those lings. Layer starts up for Dark, as well as that Roach Warren. No big surprise there. Once a Roach Boy, always a Roach Boy. All right, floating the command center down to this third base. And gonna go ahead and get the tech lab on that factory as well. So we'll see what he wants to go into with that. Is it just gonna straight up be siege tanks? Is there any possibility we're gonna see like drilling claws coming out? 5 gases on the way. All right, let's do it. What are these 5 gases for? Jeez Louise, that is... that's a lot of gas income, man. That's 15 drones that you need to make for those geysers. All right, double Evo coming up. A lot of roaches as well. Obviously, he's going to have plenty of gas to fuel all this with those 5 geysers he just made. Big macro of roaches coming out. Now, the Marines are hitting right before there's roaches, but there seems to be just enough queens that Clem wants to turn around. Clem, it feels like he's not being maybe quite as aggressive as he normally is in this matchup. Not that I don't want to act like he's some sort of cheeser. He's certainly not. But the amount of pressure he puts on, I feel like is generally maybe a little bit more than what we're seeing here in this series against Dark. Second factory is coming up here now. Armory as well. Armory timed out very well with these 1-1 upgrades. Going to get that 2-2 seamlessly. Clem not deciding on a 4th base as of yet. Just working on that 3-base macro right now. All right, another group of Marines walking out. Now, this is where Clem oftentimes earns his money right here, right? We're about to have 2 groups of 2 medevacs with Marines out. Now, he's playing against Roach Ravager, so you definitely have a lot of wiggle room to run around with these and maybe cause some damage. But Dark is the best at this type of defense as well. If this was a lesser player, I'm sure that Clem would just destroy. But, you know, he does need to try to get a little bit done. You don't want to just let Dark sit there and drone as he might. 1-1, just about done. Some siege tanks getting ready. Knocking down all the center. Wow, Dark getting ready maybe for a big push. You know, he is maxing out. That is a build. 1-1 roach timing maxed out into the third base. It's a very strong play. It was extremely meta for a while many years ago. And we still see it used occasionally. And he's definitely going to do it. Like, you wouldn't max this quickly and not start 2-2 unless you were going to attack. So it looks like Dark getting ready, sending a bunch of units up there. He is going to hit. I don't know that he's going to get that much done. Clem has a lot. He has good building placement, too. Ooh, that tank in the front, no good. But some good biles. Take down one of the siege tanks. Looks like another one is going to be blown up on the left side there. The Ravager's pushing in more, trying to pick off this other siege tank, and it does get a couple more volleys, but he gets it. Clem's Marines, though, going to push everything back. 1-1 against 1-1. The stim a bit too strong. So that max timing push from Dark, I think, absolutely underperformed compared to what he wanted it to do. And obviously, you know, to say something like that, it's kind of like a nebulous thing where it's like, well, yes, the player wants to actually kill him with this. But no, realistically, when you do these max pushes, my take is that you have to get the third base to lift. Like, if you get in that range where they lift the third, you're like, all right, we're good, right? Like, this did enough. Like, I'm ahead. But as is, I look at this game, Clem is ahead here. Clem is ahead. He's going to have his 2-2. +1 weapons almost done. 2 siege tanks at a time. Fourth base is taken. Look at this. A bunch of bio out on the map. Dark, he's forced into making a ton of units here. He is going to attack again. A little counterattack. Well, Clem has some units out there, but it's not doing as well. As you can see, the planetary doing a good job holding. Clem going to bring home what he's got left over here. He's trying to make sure that this is not super serious. It is kind of serious. It's a big group of units. 2-2 still being made, but Clem's 2-2 is actually going to finish right around the same time. So there isn't going to be a big upgrade advantage here for Dark. Don't forget, this is 1-1. So we have a very close, very aggressive game here. And, you know, whoever loses obviously not going forward. I believe that the winner here will be facing Gumiho. We'll check on that afterwards. But anyways, Dark going up for another push. Throwing those biles down. 2-2 finishing on both sides in a matter of seconds here. That is a lot of Ravagers, by the way. And look at that. Clem's 2-2 finishing about 5 seconds before Dark's. Dark backing up. And there you go. He's got 2-2 as well. So not much engagement while Clem had the advantage there. Clem making another command center. And look at how close they are. With both of them going for these middle bases with the rich geysers. They are extremely close to each other, and that should actually favor Clem. Zerg wants to be further away from you. The bigger the map, the further away they are, the better shape they're in. But right now, defensive tanks for Clem are almost offensive tanks. And any time as Terran that you can do that, where you're defending and attacking literally with the same position, that's amazing. That's amazing. And you can see, right, the tanks, they're leapfrogging up right now. He's going to hold this high ground very, very well and then start pushing beyond that. And that's good stuff. Look at that. The siege tanks coming forward. The ones in the slow zone, I'm not so sure about. Yeah. Destroyed by the rocks. I love it. I love it. Throwing the biles absolutely everywhere. Some great biles coming out of Dark, but it's only Ravagers. That is not going to work out for him. Like, you need Clem to eat biles. You need it. Look at that. He didn't sack a whole lot. Like, it was mostly just some lings and then some health. But, like, to kill only one tank, Clem definitely has to be feeling good here. You can see his supply going up higher. Okay, some good biles there. Really good biles there. A lot of those actually ended up hitting, so that was high quality. But we just don't have anything else here for Dark. In fact, he's getting melee upgrades because he does not have that hive for 3-3 to start. So Clem is going to be well ahead in upgrades very, very shortly here. Now, okay, that is a lot of Ravagers. Dude, he's really not caring about roaches at all. It's kind of insane to see, honestly. Throwing down a lot of biles. Yeah, Clem's position is looking just magnificent. Okay, has some roaches in here to do a little bit of tanking for him, but look at this. He can't even get up to get those biles down. Those 6 tanks spread like that, dude, Oh my god, he's taking so much damage walking forward. Clem is playing this just perfectly, this position. Honestly, the amount of pressure he's keeping on, his rally, it's amazing. He's taken another base during all of this as well. So he's on 5 bases. Dark is expanding a little bit during this as well. He's throwing out infestors. The infestors feel late. If he already had those infestors with like pathogen glands, or like, you know, if he had fungals already during this battle, I could have seen him maybe reducing that marine count a bit more with fungal bile and then getting more tanks. But as is, that siege tank count is out of control, and I don't see a good way for Dark to stop it. Now, he does have Hive. Maybe you throw down a few Vipers. It's really the only thing I can think of here, but honestly, even with Vipers, like, if you had 5 Vipers full energy with perfect spellcasting here, maybe you can push this all back. But that's not going to... There's no time for that. That's not going to happen. All right, throws a fungal down. It's a decent fungal. Throws the vials down, trying to zone Clem back. Clem maxed out right now. Just some beautiful play. Some beautiful play. Yeah, the vials go down. Nice fungal there on the tank. And everything exploding. My God. Well, that's going to be that. It looks like Clem is going to be able to take out Dark. GG. 6 series right there. 6 series. Really, really well done.